Which doesn't belong and why? This Tuesday, it was last Tuesday we had to scramble. This Tuesday, we don't have to scramble so far. We're going to look at the teams fighting for the last two AFC Wild Card spots. Which doesn't belong and why? The Dolphins, Chargers, Patriots, Jets. Which, I guess, two should go take a seat because they're not going to make it.
Well, why does it have to be two? It doesn't have to be two. It could still be one.
Okay.
Right?
It could be one.
All right.
Okay, take one.
Well,
if you're not willing to get old takes exposed treatment by scratching two off prematurely.
I'm not yet. I'm not going to. The only team I'm saying that doesn't belong is the Patriots. They don't belong. And why? It's easy. They're not that good. They're just not a legit playoff team for me, as we discussed kind of in the first hour, let alone their schedule. It looks like they're going to lose the last 3 games of the year. That's just what it looks like to me. Yeah, I expect them to lose to the Bengals, who are fighting for something, and I expect them to lose to the Dolphins, depending on the weather. That could be a little scary because I don't know if I mean, the way Tua has looked lately, it's certainly easy to question what he's going to look like down the stretch here. I don't care what you say. It's been a great year. It's been really shaky. And then the Bills to end the season. So from that standpoint right there, I'm going to certainly single out the New England Patriots in this conversation. And you know what? I thought we were – and then after that, I'm going to cancel out the Los Angeles Chargers, I think. That's the next one I'm going to go to. I'm going to ride with the Jets.
Yeah. The Chargers are the ones that stand out to me, Chris. I look back at their season. They have not had a signature win, and that game on Sunday night was not a signature win. It was a win against a team that's in the process of being exposed, and they built on what the 49ers did. You know, we're hearing about how they're being physical at the line of scrimmage with the Dolphins receivers. And I don't know if you've watched the film yet, but they managed to slow down the offense.
Yes, they did.
And they had enough healthy players. I mean, they slowed down the offense with some key defensive players out, and their own offense has their guys back. Justin Herbert getting the ball down the field. They need to just get the ball down the field even more. But I'm not ready to think that just because they beat the Dolphins on Sunday night, all of a sudden they're going to run the table and stay in this hunt. I agree with you. I believe in the Jets, and I think that Mike McDaniel can do enough to hold it together for the Dolphins down the stretch. But it's one of those like the car that's getting toward the end of the race and everything's starting to really vibrate and rattle and pieces are flying off. I feel like that's where the Dolphins are going to be, especially after Saturday night, because I just don't think it's going to be a good outcome for the Dolphins in Buffalo when they've already beaten the Bills in that sauna of a day in South Florida. The Bills have been waiting for this opportunity to settle the score with the Dolphins.
They turned the thermostat down.
8-6. They're going to be 8-6, and it's going to come down to the last 3 games. But I have more faith in the Dolphins and the Jets than I do in the Patriots and the Chargers right now.
I do too. And again, the Chargers schedule is not overwhelming. Right, I mean, but yeah, you just don't know what you're going to get from them, and then they've been a banged up football team. It was a valiant effort the other night. I certainly will give them credit. They have played tough. You know, they went toe to toe with the Chiefs and the 49ers. But yeah, there's just things about their team that scare me down the stretch. And then when you look at like the Jets and their schedule. Hey, Lions is going to be tough this week, going to be one of the marquee games of the weekend. But Jaguars, Seahawks, Dolphins after that. You know, certainly winnable games as the Jaguars and Seahawks are concerned, and that Dolphins game, it might come down to all of that right there. But I just have the teams themselves, I have more faith in, the Jets as a football team, the Dolphins. I just think they're more talented from top to bottom, and I think, you know, their schedules aren't the worst. The Patriots scare me, and the Chargers, I just don't know what to expect.
Chris, on that point, what Robert Saleh said after the game about seeing the Bills again, and it was one of those, like, did he really say that? And that's how kind of everybody processed it in real time. Like, is that what he's talking about, or is he talking about they play him twice next year? Oh, no, wait. He's saying we're getting to the playoffs and we're going to play the Bills again. And I thought back to the comment after week 1 where he said, go ahead and make all your insults, say whatever you want, we're going to keep receipts. Those are things he says from the podium to get through to his team and to inspire his team. Yeah. And I think he's got confidence.
I do too.
That he can get these guys pointed in the right direction to get them to the playoffs, regardless of the Mike White injury. I think he believes that this team is good enough to get there, and so I believe too. Jets and Dolphins in, Chargers, Patriots out as of right now. Let's pivot to the NFC, which doesn't belong and why. Commanders, Giants, by the way, they meet on Sunday Night Football this week after tying a week and a half ago. Seahawks, Lions are the other two. Those are the four contenders. Which doesn't belong and why? One or two or three if you want.
Yeah, I'm going to go two here, and I messed up the first round. I don't know why. When I first looked at it, I thought we just had the AFC East teams on there. That's why I was saying that one thing there, but got to two. I'm getting to two here, too. I don't like the Giants and the Seahawks chances. Again, I think we're seeing reality with the Giants, all right? And, you know, I know I've been saying that for the last few weeks, but they're not capable of overcoming any obstacles, really. Once they turn over or get down by a certain amount of points, it's scary that way. You know, and they almost need the other team to mess up at some point too. So I'm you know, again, I'm rooting for the Giants. I'm hoping, but in reality, I don't think they're gonna get it done. You know, and with their schedule. And then I look at the Seahawks and think the same thing. If you're gonna make me ride with two teams here, I look at the Commanders and the Lions to be the teams that get in. You know, but it's just like the way they're playing makes me feel the best. But that Commander schedule does make you a little scary. It is a little scary there. But I'm not a believer in the Giants and the Seahawks. I'm going to cancel them out, Mike.
I agree with you as it relates to the Giants. They are sinking like a proverbial stone. If they're ever going to turn it around, it's going to happen on Sunday night. This is the moment. This is it. This is a playoff game. Really, it's kind of like an elimination game for both teams. Because I don't think there's any coming back from losing this one, whichever team loses it. It's going to be very difficult the final 3 weeks to do it. But I think the Seahawks, the magic has run out. And there's a team that I would have added to this mix because there's a team that's not among those four that has a chance to be the seventh seed.
You said it earlier, and I don't believe it.
It's the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, I know you did, yeah.
Packers-Lions, Week 18. Packers-Lions, Week 18. Winners in, losers out. It may come down to that, Chris.
It could. It definitely could.
It very well may.
It's let's see if they can kind of get on a hot streak here and make some waves here at Green Bay. But you know, to this point, it's hard to get behind them. They got some meat left on the bone in their schedule too. But yeah, I just tend to go Seattle, no chance. 49ers, right? Chiefs the week after that. I see them losing both of those football games. And then they got the Jets after that, which I think is a tough matchup for them. So I look at that and just go, hey, great job, Seahawks, way to go. Giants, yeah, I just don't think they have the horses. So I look at the Commanders and the defense, the way Heineke's playing, you know, as to be a team that can make a run. And they're playing pretty quality football. And the Lions, the defense has gotten better. It's not great, but it's not just a total disaster. And it's really one of the hottest offenses in football with a pretty favorable schedule. I like them. But I hear you. Green Bay's still lurking. And with Rodgers and they're battle-tested and all that from previous years, they are scary still.
Here's a fascinating dynamic to all of this, too. And will it creep into the minds of many players? I don't know. But it doesn't take many. It reminds me of having a conversation with the late Demaryius Thomas after the 2014 season when it felt like we were going to see Broncos-Patriots in the AFC Championship. And the Broncos lost at home to the Colts. Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
Peyton Manning loses at home to the Colts
in
the divisional round. And that set the stage for the Deflategate game. So it was 2014. Yeah, it was 2014. I already said 2014. I'm correcting myself for something I didn't screw up. I'm so used to screwing up, I'm correcting myself for things I didn't screw up. Anyway, Demaryius Thomas said that there were guys in that locker room that did not want to go to New England. They didn't want to go because they just assumed they were going to go get their asses kicked. And guess what? They didn't have to go get their asses kicked. They lost to the Colts. I mention that because as this thing starts to crystallize, okay, 6 seed gets to go to Minnesota and maybe win. 7 seed gets to go to San Francisco and get stomped. I don't want to be the 7th seed. I'm fine. Why do I want to go out there and get the crap at that one extra game and we're going to lose 34-7? No, thank you. Look at what they did to Tom Brady. No, thank you. I don't want to be the 7th seed. If I can be the 6th seed, I don't want in at all. And now somebody's got to be the 7th seed. And for somebody, it's just like it's like for the Lions. It's good for the program to get to the playoffs, even if they get completely destroyed by the Lions or the 49ers, the next week. But for some of those teams, that's when it really starts to focus in on what it means to be the 7th seed. You get a ticket to San Francisco and an ass beating by the 49ers, there may be some guys that aren't interested. Is that nuts?
A little. But,
All right, that's fine.
Well,
but I'm telling you, I'm giving you tangible evidence of it. The Demaryius Thomas story is why I'm thinking of this.
I hear you. I mean, that was the New England Patriots, and them and their lore and all that as well. And I think the other thing too is just that for the most part, minus Green Bay in this conversation, maybe Green Bay would have those type of thoughts, but the other teams are going to be like new to the party, so this is cool to them. They're not going to care. And this is the great thing about the NFL playoffs too, that people always forget. Guy making $500,000-$600,000, that playoff check, that's a nice little bump up from my year here. So that adds the incentive to the guys that are lower on the roster and that haven't had a $1 million paycheck in every game. So there's that incentive too. But I hear what you're saying. I get it. But
you know what though?
Yeah.
You know what though?
What?
I think we've drilled down on it. I think the Packers are the one team that is going to be most susceptible. Aaron Rodgers and company. He's not going to
be
go back to
California
and see what he saw what happened to Brady on his Sunday off. Brady went back to his home area and got embarrassed in what may be the last time he ever plays there. Aaron Rodgers isn't going to want any part of that. I wouldn't.
No, I hear you.
So,
and then really they've given us
Packers.
nothing at this point to make us think that they can make that run. That to me is the other thing too. I haven't seen enough evidence to sit here and go, oh, here they're going to right this ship. Hey, the Rams this weekend, certainly maybe they can get that win. Great, but I haven't seen enough to sit here and think, oh, well, they can go to Miami and outplay them and do that. And, of course, the Vikings, hey, divisional games, we'll see where it goes. It's going to be tough. Lions are going to be tough. But it just doesn't seem like they have the fight or the magic about them this year to kind of squeak in here.
I think they'll beat the Vikings week 17. The other two games.
You think everybody's going to beat the Vikings?
Next Monday night.
Anybody playing the Vikings,
I think the Vikings,
you think they're going to lose?
The Vikings are going to get their T-shirt and hat this weekend against Jeff Saturday and company. They're going to get their T-shirt and hat just in time for Christmas, and then that'll be it. It's just a matter of do they win the wild card round or do they get destroyed?
He's a mean one.
Speaking of
Mr. Grinch,
teams, stop it.
He doesn't like his team this time
by
of
the
year.
49ers.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.